In this video, we'll travel back to the golden age of American agriculture, a time when ambition reached sky-high, but reality was far harsher. Some tractors were advertised as miracles, yet in practice, they turned into nightmares. Stay with us until the end, because these machines hold lessons that go far beyond steel and horsepower. They reveal the fragile line between innovation and disaster, and the resilience of the farmers who endured it all. Let's start with a machine that forced an entire company into one of the biggest recalls in tractor history. Ford 6000. In the early 1960s, the American tractor industry entered a fierce horsepower race. Competitors like John Deere and International Harvester were already releasing models with 60 to 80 horsepower, allowing farmers to achieve far greater productivity. Meanwhile, Ford, once admired for its reliable and compact tractors, was falling behind, with its strongest models producing less than 50 horsepower. People began to ask, was Ford losing its place in the fields of America? To regain momentum, Ford made a bold decision. The company poured resources into designing a completely new tractor, one that would leap ahead in both power and technology. It was to become a symbol of progress, the machine that would put Ford back at the forefront of innovation. In March 1961, that dream took shape with the launch of the Ford 6000. On paper, it was impressive. The Ford 6000 came with a 242 cubic inch, 6-cylinder diesel engine, or a 3.7-liter gasoline option, delivering the power farmers had been demanding. Its star feature was the SelectoSpeed 10-speed transmission, which allowed operators to shift gears smoothly without stopping the engine. At the time, this was groundbreaking technology, promising convenience and efficiency like never before. But the reality turned out very different. Within months of release, farmers began reporting serious problems. The SelectoSpeed transmission, though advanced, had not been thoroughly tested before production. It failed frequently, jammed during use, and struggled to handle the engine's power. Some farmers bitterly nicknamed it the disaster gearbox. The diesel engine itself proved unreliable. Rather than building a completely new design, Ford had adapted it from a smaller gasoline engine. The result was an under-engineered block with only 4 main bearings. Under heavy use, crankshafts warped and catastrophic failures followed. Instead of confidence, farmers now faced the nightmare of tractors breaking down in the middle of critical fieldwork. The troubles did not end there. Ford's much-advertised Power Store hydraulic system, which used an accumulator to store oil under pressure, was supposed to be another innovation. Instead, it was too sensitive, causing implements like plows to lift and drop suddenly, making field operations unpredictable and even dangerous. The backlash was overwhelming. Farmers had invested in Ford's promise of modern technology, only to feel betrayed by poor reliability. Faced with a crisis, Ford did something unprecedented in tractor history. It recalled every single Ford 6000 sold, bringing them back for repairs and upgrades. To mark the difference, the reworked machines were repainted from red and gray to blue, a symbolic attempt to turn the page. By 1965, Ford introduced the Ford 6000 Commander, an improved version with fixes to both engine and transmission. Performance and reliability were much better, but the damage was already done. For many farmers, the name Ford 6000 had become synonymous with disappointment. Today, the story of the Ford 6000 stands as a cautionary tale. It shows us that ambition without thorough testing can lead to disaster, and that innovation must always be balanced with reliability. Ford admitted its mistakes, took responsibility, and learned lessons that shaped its future tractors. The Ford 6000 is remembered not just as a failure, but also as a turning point in agricultural history, a reminder that progress is not only about chasing power, but about building trust with the people who depend on these machines. Farmall 460. In the late 1950s, International Harvester, one of the giants of American tractor manufacturing, faced intense competition. Farmers were demanding bigger, stronger machines to handle larger fields and heavier implements. IH's answer was the Farmall 460, a new model launched with the promise of more power and modern performance. On the surface, the Farmall 460 looked like a success. It featured a more powerful engine than its predecessors, pushing into the 55 to 60 horsepower range. It was sleek, it was strong, and it was marketed as the next big step in mechanized farming. For a time, many farmers were eager to put it to the test on their fields. But almost immediately, a critical flaw revealed itself. While IH had increased the horsepower, they had not fully reinforced the transmission and rear axle system to handle the extra load. The rear axles of the Farmall 460 were essentially carried over from earlier, less powerful models. The bearings were too small, the shafts too weak. Under the strain of heavier work, failures became common. Farmers reported broken axles, damaged bearings, and sudden breakdowns during crucial operations like plowing and harvesting. Worse, some failures were violent, throwing operators into dangerous situations. What had been sold as a leap forward now looked like a serious miscalculation. And the issues didn't stop there. The transmission often stuck between gears, especially under quick shifts. Worn gear heads and imperfect linkage were to blame. Hydraulic systems leaked fluid beneath the control panel, causing loss of pressure and performance. Repairs were both complex and costly. Brakes underperformed, and the power steering felt sluggish, particularly in cold conditions. For many farmers, these problems meant not only frustration but also financial loss. Downtime during the growing season could be devastating, and the repair bills piled up quickly. Trust in International Harvester's engineering began to waver. To their credit, IH eventually responded. When similar problems appeared in the slightly larger Farmall 560, the company was forced into one of the largest tractor recalls in American history, replacing rear axle bearings with stronger cylindrical roller bearings. The lessons learned from the 460 and 560 shaped IH's future designs, pushing them to better balance horsepower with structural durability. Yet for many owners, the damage was already done. Some said the Farmall 460 was a money pit, a tractor that cost more in repairs than it gave back in productivity. Others defended it, arguing that with careful maintenance, the machine could still serve faithfully. The divide reflected a larger truth: the 460 had potential, but it was rushed to market before its weaknesses were fully understood. Looking back, the Farmall 460 stands as a reminder of the risks of chasing power without reinforcing the foundation. International Harvester wanted to compete in the horsepower race, but by ignoring the limits of their existing designs, they created a machine that symbolized imbalance, ambition without preparation. The Farmall 460 was not just a tractor. It was a lesson carved into steel: every increase in strength must be matched with equal attention to durability. Without that balance, innovation can crumble under its own weight. If the 460 revealed the cracks in IH's design, the 560 turned those cracks into a full-blown crisis. What happened next would shake the entire tractor industry. Farmall 560. By the end of the 1950s, International Harvester was determined not to lose ground in the battle for more horsepower. Farmers were asking for bigger engines, heavier pulling capacity, and the ability to work longer hours with fewer limitations. IH's response was the Farmall 560, introduced as the larger, more powerful sibling to the 460. It was meant to carry the company's legacy into a new era of farming. With a 6-cylinder engine delivering more than 60 horsepower, the Farmall 560 had muscle that farmers were eager to use. It could handle larger implements and cover more acres in less time. To many, it looked like IH had built the tractor they had been waiting for. But almost as soon as it reached the fields, problems surfaced. Like the 460 before it, the Farmall 560 carried forward a rear axle and transmission system that simply wasn't designed for the added stress of the new engine. The result was catastrophic. Axle bearings failed under heavy load, shafts twisted and broke, and operators found themselves stranded in the middle of planting or harvesting. In some cases, the failures created dangerous situations that risked injury. The outcry was immediate and widespread. Farmers who had invested their hard-earned money in the promise of more power now felt betrayed. The situation grew so dire that in 1959, IH was forced into one of the largest tractor recalls in American history. Thousands of Farmall 560s had to be repaired, with the company replacing weak ball bearings with stronger cylindrical roller bearings. It was a costly and embarrassing move, but it was the only way to salvage the machine's reputation. Beyond the axle failures, the 560 faced other complaints. The transmission frequently stuck between gears, especially during fast shifts. Hydraulic systems often leaked oil, reducing pressure and efficiency, requiring expensive fixes. Braking performance was inconsistent, and power steering was unreliable in colder conditions. For farmers, these weren't just inconveniences. They meant lost time, lost harvests, and mounting repair bills. Many considered the 560 a symbol of IH's overconfidence, proof that the company had rushed to meet horsepower demands without properly reinforcing its engineering. And yet, not everyone despised the machine. Some owners argued that once the recall repairs were completed and with diligent maintenance, the Farmall 560 was still a capable, even dependable tractor. Still, the legacy of the Farmall 560 is inseparable from its recall. It taught the agricultural world a valuable lesson: increasing power without redesigning the foundation is a recipe for disaster. Today, the Farmall 560 is remembered not just as a machine, but as a turning point in agricultural history, proof that progress must be measured, ambition must be matched with preparation, and that ignoring engineering fundamentals can bring even the strongest companies to their knees. IH wasn't the only one to stumble. Even the most trusted name in tractors, John Deere, released a model that many still call its worst ever. John Deere 2010. In 1960, John Deere unveiled a bold new vision: the new generation of power. This was not just a line of tractors, it was a statement that Deere was ready to lead American agriculture into the modern age. Among the models launched in this campaign was the John Deere 2010, a mid-size tractor aimed at farmers who needed a balance of versatility, affordability, and performance. Expectations were high. Deere had never let its customers down before. On paper, the 2010 looked promising. Equipped with a 4-cylinder engine, it was designed for medium-sized farms, capable of handling a variety of tasks. Deere introduced an innovative sleeve deck engine design, where all the cylinders were mounted on a single baseplate. The idea was to simplify assembly and make the tractor easier to service. Combined with Deere's reputation for quality, farmers anticipated a machine that would deliver both reliability and efficiency. But reality struck hard. The sleeve deck design, instead of being revolutionary, turned out to be the tractor's Achilles heel. The sealing system between the sleeves and the deck proved ineffective. Engines developed leaks, compression dropped, and performance suffered. What should have been Deere's next engineering triumph quickly became a source of frustration in the fields. The problems didn't stop there. The hydraulic pump was mounted in a cramped, hard-to-reach location, making even simple maintenance a headache. Power steering proved unreliable, often failing when precision control was most needed. The brakes were weak and ineffective, sometimes struggling even when the tractor was brand new. And the PTO, power takeoff, shaft, vital for running implements, failed far too often, causing costly downtime. Farmers who had trusted Deere's name began to feel betrayed. Some went so far as to call the 2010 the worst tractor John Deere ever built. The diesel version, in particular, earned a reputation for unreliability, with constant engine issues that dwarfed those of the gasoline model. For a company like Deere, whose reputation rested on unwavering dependability, the 2010 was more than a technical failure, it was a scar on its legacy. Many dealers struggled to keep frustrated customers calm, while Deere engineers scrambled to address the growing list of complaints. And yet, out of this failure came something valuable. The 2010 forced Deere to confront the reality that not every innovation is an improvement. The lessons learned from the 2010 informed future designs, pushing Deere to refine its engineering practices, strengthen testing procedures, and avoid shortcuts. Today, collectors and enthusiasts often look back on the John Deere 2010 as a curiosity, a cautionary tale that even the most trusted brands can stumble. It reminds us that progress is not always a straight line forward. Sometimes, it comes with detours, setbacks, and painful lessons. The 2010 was meant to embody the spirit of a new generation. Instead, it became a reminder that innovation without reliability is hollow. And in the unforgiving world of farming, where livelihoods depend on every hour of work, trust is worth more than any new feature. And while some failures came from poor testing or design, others came from risky partnerships. The Oliver 1250 promised the best of two worlds, American branding and European engineering, but what farmers got was something very different. Oliver 1250.
He's gotta slow down.
By the late 1960s, Oliver Corporation was searching for a way to expand its product line. American farms were diversifying, and not every farmer needed a large, high-horsepower machine. There was a growing demand for smaller, compact tractors that could handle lighter duties while still offering reliability. Instead of designing one from scratch, Oliver turned to Europe. The company entered a partnership with Fiat of Italy, hoping to blend European engineering with American branding. Out of this collaboration came the Oliver 1250. At first glance, it seemed like a smart move. The Oliver 1250 was compact, fuel-efficient, and versatile enough for tasks like mowing, cultivating, and hauling. For smaller farms, orchards, or vineyards, it looked like the perfect solution. Farmers welcomed the idea of a dependable, affordable tractor carrying the Oliver badge. But the honeymoon didn't last. Beneath the Oliver paint and nameplate, the tractor was essentially a Fiat design. While Fiat tractors had their strengths, the 1250 quickly revealed weaknesses in the American market. The most glaring issue was parts availability. The 1250 used specialized Fiat components, including its engine, which were difficult to source in the United States. When something broke, and it often did, farmers struggled to find replacements. Weeks or even months of downtime were not uncommon. Other issues followed. The ignition system was prone to failure, and losing keys or components made it frustratingly hard to repair. Some diesel versions idled unevenly, making the machine unpredictable and uncomfortable to operate. Technical information was sparse. Farmers often found themselves without proper manuals or guidance, leaving them to guess at solutions. The result was growing frustration. Instead of feeling supported, Oliver customers felt abandoned. For many, the 1250 became a reminder that a tractor is more than just a piece of machinery, it is a lifeline. When that lifeline fails, the consequences ripple through every aspect of farm life. Still, not all experiences were negative. Some owners praised the Oliver 1250's durability when properly maintained, saying it could perform its intended light duties well. For these farmers, patience and mechanical skill turned the 1250 into a useful partner. But for the majority, the struggle to keep it running outweighed the benefits. Ultimately, the Oliver 1250 illustrates a critical truth in agricultural manufacturing: a tractor must come with more than just horsepower and design. It must be backed by strong after-sales support, accessible spare parts, and technical knowledge. Without these, even a promising machine will lose the trust of its users. For Oliver, the 1250 was an experiment in global collaboration, a step into the compact tractor market. But for many farmers, it became a cautionary tale of unmet expectations. Today, it is remembered not as a breakthrough, but as a reminder that innovation is incomplete without reliability and support. The Oliver 1250 was more than just a tractor, it was a story of partnership, promise, and the hard reality that farming demands more than ideas. It demands machines that are there when they are needed most. 5 tractors, 5 cautionary tales. And together, they reveal one truth: ambition is not enough, only reliability earns the farmer's trust. If you found these stories meaningful, share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe, so we can continue bringing you more journeys into the machines, the people, and the history that shaped modern agriculture.